Coffee is so good this morning. It's so good every morning, but whew, I feel like I need coffee in my eyeballs this morning. All right. So, hey, Erin, if you are watching from the Wellness Collective page, just a quick note that I can't see your comments. So, if I'm not responding to you, that is why. Hi, Janelle. How's everybody feeling this morning? Hi, Adita. I'm definitely feeling this crazy energy stuff right now. I think I've had a headache since last night, and I was hoping that the storm would, wipe it away, but it has not yet. So here's to coffee. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Rose. Does everybody have their coffee? Is it coffee time? James is taking the boys to camp this morning, so I didn't have to do this early. Thank goodness. All right. I don't know. Hi, Faith. Okay. So tell me, has everybody done their new moon in Cancer rituals? Did you guys do something for that? I know most of my restoration people did. Ooh, that's an interesting one, Nancy. Hi, Rachel. Good to see you. That's an interesting one. Well, I think it's appropriate as we sideways crawl out of Cancer energy, not fast enough for my liking, that we start to talk about energy stuff. I told you guys maybe last week or at some point in the past that I was going to do a little workshop to talk about putting up your own energetic boundaries, respecting other people's energetic boundaries, clearing your energy, and all of the things. And so I have done that. It's going to be on August 6th. It's only going to be like a little over an hour. It's not going to be a big deal, but it's going to give you everything you need to start practicing offense instead of defense. Because while there is a certain amount of squirm that we just kind of need to deal with, right? There are tools that can help us not to feel completely like out of control and insane, and help ground us, and also take us out of situations that are going to be hotbeds for feeling that way. So I want to talk about that today. Let's see what we've got here. Stressed and tired, avoiding people. Good job. Yeah, it's cool stuff. I'm feeling for all the teachers. Like, obviously, everyone's like, oh my God, the parents. But I think about the teachers. I have a lot of friends who are teachers, and how they've been kind of like, what do we do? Are we doing this? Are we doing that? Like, and everybody's back and forth and so stressed, and then having to deal with the parents getting on them all the time. It's not good. Hey, Danielle. So, I'm going to tell you a story about energetic boundaries and what can happen when you have none. Okay, so kind of jumping in from where we were yesterday, telling you that my spiritual awakening happened when I started doing meditation, and then I had that visitation from my grandfather, and that kind of opened everything up for me. Okay, so I ended up going on a trip to Sedona, okay, not too long after that. And I was with my mom and her husband, and he told me that he would pay for as many psychic readings as I wanted. And I was like, kid in a candy store. I was like, how many can I fit in a day? Like, tell me all the things about myself. Like, what does this mean? What does that mean? Ah. So I'm running around Sedona all day long, popping in, putting my names on lists, and having psychic readings. I probably had in one day 5 of them. Okay. My last one of the day, I cannot remember the name of the place, which is probably fine, but it was like this guy, and he took me into what I can only imagine was a closet that he had outfitted for the purposes, and he had this app on his phone where he plugged all my information into, and he was very like, he talked really fast and frantic, and I was not feeling very easy. And he was talking to me and telling me like it's my last chance for this, and I can only get one more opportunity to get things right in this life, and all this stuff. And I was sitting there like, holy shit. And all of a sudden I'm looking at him, and his face just morphs into this like grotesque monster like form. And I was like, oh, all right. So me at that time, this, just remember, this was like 2014, Sarah. I didn't want to be impolite and just walk out. So I stayed, and then I left, and I felt really weird, but I moved on. So then I went home where I had my two babies, and like I think Justin was just baby, like a few months, like maybe 3, 4 months old, and Eli was still in a crib, but he could get up and do things. And I remember feeling really off when I got home, like disconnected from my family. And I just kind of imagined it was because, I had been traveling and all the things, but it just felt really weird. It felt real weird. So one night I was in bed, and I think I fell asleep. And at some point I felt something pull me out of my body. Like I could see my body down there, and I saw my husband laying next to me. Like I saw us in bed sleeping. It pulled me out of my body and threw me into the corner of the ceiling, and just kept tossing me around, tossing me around, tossing me around. And there was this feeling of like vibration of, I could feel myself being moved out of my body. So I was terrified because I wasn't, 2014 Sarah didn't have a community of witches to kind of, run things across and, handle situations. I was like, what the fuck? Like, what do I even do? Like, this is terrifying. It's like I'm living my own scary movie. It happened more than once. And then things started happening around the house. I started, like, when I looked at the monitor for Eli's room, I would see him standing and pointing to a corner. And I was like, ooh, that's one of the reasons I didn't want to have kids, was just for that, for them pointing at things in corners and they can't speak. So there was that. Objects would appear certain places. I had a babysitter who was like totally normal and awesome. And I mentioned to her a few things that were happening. She was like, oh yeah, are you talking about that entity in your home? And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, I see those things, but my mom told me like just never to talk about it. So I didn't want to say anything. But it doesn't really do anything until the boys go to bed, and then it just messes with me. And I was like, what the hell is going on? So I was really in a bad place because now I had to learn energetic protection, energetic boundaries, and I don't know, getting rid of weird entities in one's home, as a crash course and also as survival. So it's not the best vantage point to learn these things, but it's very effective, right? So that is kind of what started me down the path of connecting with other metaphysical people in this area, because I needed some help to figure out what to do. So the biggest lesson that I learned from all of this is that from early on, especially if you were like me and watched a lot of horrifying movies when you were little, like I really loved like a scary movie, especially if they had to do with like demons and stuff. I was really into that. You have in your brain all of these things, right? And associations and connotations. Okay, you think of possession as very negative, and that you need a priest to get rid of it. You think of any type of haunting as very negative, and they're kind of out to get you. You have all of the, like, basically the zeitgeist of horror movies are all you have to go on when it comes to anything metaphysical like that, right? So that's what I had to go on, and I had quite a database because I've been watching these movies since I was like 13. Name one, I've seen it. So I spoke to a psychic who was actually based in Arizona, and he told me, you need to stop watching that shit because you are basically getting scared and making this a thing because your fear is feeding into it like a cycle. Okay? And just get rid of it. But okay, makes sense, right? So, what I had to learn to do was to retrain myself and reframe what I believed these things were and what my place is in the hierarchy of spirit, right? Because I was operating under the assumption that this entity in my home and these energies flinging me around the room were more powerful than me, know more things than I do, and I'm at the mercy of their whims. And friends, that just is not true. But like anything, because we are the most powerful manifestors ever created, really, if you believe it, so it is. So I had to retrain myself, and I sure as hell did because I was not having it. That was just not a good feeling. I can still to this day tell you exactly how it feels to have my like soul pulled out of my body as I'm sleeping. It's like brrr, and that like panic feeling of like no, bring it back in. So super uncool. But sovereignty is what comes up here. Okay, understanding that you are in charge of your own energy. You are the one who says, this is okay for it to happen, and this is not okay for it to happen. And once you step into that place of personal sovereignty, these things don't have any power over you. When you think of vibration, we always talk about raise your vibration, raise your vibration. Well, what does that mean? The lower vibration, like we're just talking science-wise, right? And pardon me, but the lower the vibration of something, the more solid it is, right? You can feel it, okay? So consider that if you are able to visually see an entity or an entity is able to physically manipulate something, they are typically of a pretty low density because they have to be and able to manipulate matter. Oftentimes, in order to get the energy to do those things, they're feeding off your energy. And how do they get the best, juiciest energy? The same way the people in your life who drive you bananas and drain you do. They suck it out like a vampire. So, while I'm not saying the people in your life who make you tired are like demons or anything, or entities, they operate with a similar concept of feeding off of your energy because they cannot make their own. So, segueing into energy vampires, learning how to cut off the supply to those around you and not just be like this light shining for people to eat is going to save your life. Not just from being thrown around the room, because I don't believe that's something everybody is going to experience at all. I just happened to bring home a ridiculous energy from that horrible man in Arizona when I was like, whoo, let's have readings from everybody without doing any protection. But being able to protect your energy in that way on a regular basis will make sure that your energy is here for you to use, for you to grow with, for you to learn with, and for you to feel good in. And you're not just like this light buffet or energy buffet for people around you who are not doing their own work and therefore need somebody to suck energy off of. Okay? So that's my story that really made it very clear to me that I need to learn energetic boundaries and energetic protection. As I've said to you guys before, I don't learn anything by people telling me. I have to experience it. So I'm just glad that I'm almost 37 and I'm still alive. So yay, Sarah. But you may be that person too. Maybe you need to learn things that way. But even if you are, it's helpful to hear the things on the front end so that when you're in it, you can go, okay, that's what's happening now. Right now, I don't know if you've noticed, but there has been a huge illuminating of narcissistic personalities. Have you seen that? We are hearing it more. People are using the word more. And we are seeing people breaking out of narcissistic relationships, be they romantic, friendships, whatever. Narcissism is like the OG of energy vampires, okay? Because this is psychologically twisting, right? And oftentimes when we are how do I put this? Before we have our spiritual awakenings, we are often very emotionally malleable and looking for something. A lot of us have trauma in our pasts that have us seeking validation and acceptance from a person, or needing to care for another person to feel validated in our existence. You know, things happen that shape that, okay? So an empath being with a narcissist is not just a one-way connection. It's both. The empath is attracted to the narcissist because the narcissist needs the empath and needs their healing, needs their love, needs their light, right? The problem is the narcissist latches onto the empath and then breaks them down so that they can't walk away, all right? So that is a pattern that I think a lot of us have found ourselves in, probably over and over and over and over again. And this year is the year we're saying, all set, right? No more. We're not doing that anymore. You can't eat me up anymore. But that takes a huge, huge burst of inner energy to pull yourself out of that kind of a relationship. So if you are one of those people who has escaped from that suck relationship with you being the empath with a narcissist, I hope that every single freaking day you recognize how incredibly strong you are and how much healing and growth you are currently in, because that is a really, really, really big deal. So I just want you to know that, okay? So somehow we're going from like demon possession to narcissist, but it kind of all comes together because this is energy, people, all right? This is energy. And learning how to protect your energy, to have firm boundaries, and to have firm ethics about your own energy practice is going to prevent any of that from happening again. Are you going to have days like I'm currently having where you're like, oh, this energy is killing me? Yes. But guess what? It's not actually killing you. This is just what's happening energetically. There's a difference between being affected by collective energy, by earth energy, by shifts in energy, and being with people who are sucking your energy out. Those are different things. So saying all this to say, it's really, 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 really important for you guys to take some time to reflect on what your energetic boundaries currently are. Are they working? What your energetic hygiene practices are they working? And just have an overall idea of how to protect yourself at this time. So that is what I have to say for today. I'm having a workshop on this on the 6th. So if you would like to come, sign up. It's online. We're going to go through all of these things. I'm going to give you tips, tools, and basically a little guideline on how to take care of all of these things that you can then take and make your own. This is a wonderful workshop to take as a precursor to doing the intuition mentorship workshop in the fall. This will just kind of like set you up. But I didn't want to wait until September to do this because we need it now. Like, we need to do the energy stuff now. So if you're interested, sign up. I'm not putting a cap on attendance. And don't forget, restoration people, you get 25% off of that, which I have to change the coupon. But yeah, so it's Wednesday. I hope you have a good day. Energetically, it's bananas again. So drink a lot of water and make sure that your squirm is from this and not from the people around you sucking energy off of you, okay? But just know that, like, it's really a lot this week. It's really a lot this week. So find your moments of levity, drink lots of water. I can't stress enough how much you need to smudge. It's like walk around, smudge everybody. But we got this. You know, it's a constant, it is like that. It is a constant leveling up, just like Erin said. It's a constant leveling up, and it is exhausting, but we are going to be able to get through it. And not only through it, we are leveling up, and we are going to be able to handle all of these shifts better and better and better. So I love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful Wednesday. I will see you again tomorrow. Super exciting. I'll see some of you tonight. Love you, Jackie. Have a great day, and I'll post the YouTube of this soon. Hopefully I can edit out part of it. I'm not doing good with the editing. But if you like it, share it, and I hope to see some of you at the workshop.